And you're gonna put your lips on?
Yeah, gonna put my lips on.
Can you come over? You're in
Yeah, hold on. I'm just putting my lips on.
I'm really conscious of saying okay now because I feel like that's how I started.
And I'm conscious of giving a weather update.
Speaking of, actually, they probably do want a weather update.
Guys, it's pretty cloudy today, actually, but it's hot. It is hot. We're in for a heat wave here this week in Australia. It's going to be like 36 degrees one day, I think, which is really fucked up. Tomorrow. Thank God for this blessed air conditioning because I think I would fall apart. That's too hot.
Anyway, welcome back, guys. Ooh. We're continuing strong with our Torture Poet breakdowns. We're really trying to get through these because I think that we've had this album long enough and we're really fathoming some things. Yeah. And also, we don't know what Taylor's next move is. So
yeah, or when. Yes.
So it's time to really...
I'm feeling ready for something new. And I say that without expectation because I understand that baby girl needs a rest.
Absolutely.
And a month and a half simply isn't long enough. However, what I will say is that now that we have moved on from the eras to an ending and we didn't get anything on the last night or whatever, I feel like I'm ready for an announcement.
I think I'm definitely ready for something. It doesn't have to be a re-record.
No.
And it definitely, I don't think I'm ready for a new album.
No. I don't think anyone's ready for a new album.
Yeah, still recovering from Torture Poets.
Oh no, there's 2 albums to be processing.
There is.
With this album,
there really is. Absolutely.
So I don't think anyone's ready for a new one, but just a little bit of something, you know?
Emily was saying this morning, can you actually believe she gave us a double album? I feel like we clowned for that for so long, and then it actually happened with Torture Poets. Let us not forget, Torture Poets is the double album.
Yeah, I don't think that we actually talk about it enough.
I agree.
As a fandom. I feel like this often, we get so attached to a certain idea, and then when we finally get it, we move on way too quickly. And it's she literally gave us a double fucking album.
Just like she gave us All Too Well 10. That is never to be recovered from.
Never to be recovered from. She gave us Vault tracks on Midnights.
No.
What?
Oh my God. Yeah. Thank God as well.
No.
Speaking of Midnights,
guys. Someone blesses us.
This week we are refathoming Midnights on our Patreon after getting Torture Poets, and if any of those songs have changed for us.
Yes.
And just reviewing, going back on that album and kind of what was going on there. So check out our Patreon if you want to watch that. I'm super excited to talk about Midnights.
Yeah, me too. There's always so much to be refathoming when you're a couple of years on from an album.
Midnights. So good. But today...
Yes.
We are breaking down I Can Fix Him.
No.
Really?
I can.
Oh, doll.
Oh, this song this one is so interesting to me for a few reasons. And I think it where I want to start off with is kind of what everybody's expectation was around it and then what it actually ended up being.
No, I actually had a very strong attachment to the title of this song.
Yeah,
I genuinely thought it was going to be one of my favorites on the track, on the album. And I think it's because I thought that she was going to be singing about her relationship with Joe Alwyn, which is a long-term relationship. Yeah. And I personally find her Joe songs very relatable. I need to make it clear that this is a deeply offensive song. Yeah. And I love this cowboy western kind of energy to it. I think that that's amazing. I love the imagery that you get when listening to this song, or what I think we get. We just were talking about this because Bonnie's wearing a cowboy boot and a horseshoe. And she was like, I'm wearing this because this is a cowboy song. And then she was like, wait, is it? Did I just make that up? And I'm like, no, I don't think you've made that up, but maybe we have made it up. I don't know. I guess we'll go through the lyrics when we break it down and fathom. But I think it's a cowboy song. It's giving swinging into town. But I think because it's got this this imagery and this character kind of vibe to it, and because it's quite short, and because in some way it is serious, but it also feels kind of silly, for lack of a better word. I don't know if that's quite the right term to use. It does feel like it maybe doesn't go into the depth of what you were kind of expecting in the sense of I'm gonna get this man to be super emotionally available and whatever. We'll just really dive into, I guess, what about him she wanted to fix, which she does, but it's just different content to what I predicted it to be. And how could I have known? Because none of us could have known what kind of relationship she was going to be talking about on this album.
Yeah.
In saying that, I think that this is a deeply relatable song for a lot of people, and a very... I think just that concept of trying to fix someone, trying to change someone,
especially a man,
especially
a woman fixing a man.
Yeah,
I think that's where the silliness feels like it comes into this song for me. It's like she's playing on the fact that she knows that as girls, like
we try to do
so many of us have had that experience of saying to her, oh, I'm gonna fix him.
And I guess that's where
no,
really I can comes in as well. It's like, I can fix him. No, really, I can.
Yeah.
I can actually do it.
Oh,
I know the rest of you failed, but I'm not going to fail. I'm going to succeed.
Yeah, totally.
It's a superior song. Shall we have a listen?
Let's have a listen. Oh, Twain.
The smoke cloud billows out his mouth like a freight train through a small town. The jokes that he told across the bar were revolting and far too loud.
Oh my god, that's the verse.
It's so short, I've never fathomed.
I've never fathomed either.
And there's no pre-chorus or anything there.
No, I guess it's such a short little song.
It is a short little song. It's just straight to the point. It's a nugget.
The smoke cloud billows out his mouth like a freight train through a small town. So he's smoking a cigarette and his smoke is billowing out of his mouth. I get the idea from that he's a very comfortable smoker, a chain smoker, or someone who can smoke a lot.
Yeah, and I think that's held in the line like a freight train through a small town, because she's kind of saying like a big massive train going through a small town, there's going to be so much smoke, like it's almost like on any corner of this small town you'd be able to like you'd be in that air, you'd be in that smoke.
Disrupting, it feels, as well.
Yes.
And also it paints that vivid image of him just being a bit of a bad boy, I guess.
Yeah, totally. Like she's immediately letting us know that this man is maybe doing something that is less socially acceptable today. And I think that's what's fascinating about this song too, though, is that you do get this old Western kind of vibe. And I think the freight train through a small town kind of gives you that as well. And the small town energy and the guitar having that twang. Like it takes me back to like the Wild West.
Very, very
kind of
like interesting how quickly that happens. And I think that does take away a layer of just like, you know, another song that could just be simply Taylor's feelings and her emotions. You know, this has those added layers of character.
Totally. She's painting a really vivid picture with this song in the production, in the choice of instruments, in the lyrical imagery she's choosing to use, even though she is saying something that is like, again, with the fact that smoking is less socially acceptable only in the last couple of decades, really, it's quite modern in that way to sort of pose this as like part of this man's problem, I guess, which is kind of in juxtaposition with the energy that you get from this song. The jokes that he told across the bar were revolting and far too loud.
I love this lyric.
Great. And even that across the bar, it's like you could get modern imagery, or you could get like kind of that pub saloon kind of energy from it as well.
And he's being publicly embarrassing, socially embarrassing. I get this image of her kind of watching him just being like, oh my fucking god, really got it cut out for me here.
I think it's hard with lyrics like this first verse to not relate it back to the Maddie Healy story. I think particularly around the fact that Taylor herself copped so much criticism from Swifties because of the fact that she was dating him in the first place, and he is known to make revolting jokes or, you know, racist jokes or, you know, and we know about his smoking, we know about his drug use, things like that. It's just like,
I mean, it just is about Maddie Healy.
It's no just, other way it's so obviously commentary on that. But I find, in that way, I do think it is quite vulnerable. Because she didn't need to actually let us in on the fact that she likes this man enough, loves this man enough to actually want to try and fix all his bad traits.
I think you're right. In that way, it absolutely is very vulnerable, and I think it also is a puzzle piece in this album that's very necessary in understanding what her mentality was. I mean, we were all kind of thinking, oh, Taylor's too good for this guy, and she kind of knew it too. And I think her acknowledging that is important in the bigger picture of this whole album, I think.
It is, and when you think about it in the context of the whole album, there's so much vulnerability held in the emotion that she shares about him in so many of the other songs that maybe we don't need it as much here, because this is just adding that extra layer of like, this was just another potential issue that we had in making this
I actually
work.
think that in the context of the whole album, this is exactly what we need from this song.
Yeah.
But I think that when I first saw the track list, I picked this to be one of the more emotional songs, even though I was completely wrong with that. But it absolutely is perfect piece in the rest of the album. Okay, let's hear this chorus. Straight into it.
They shake their heads saying, God help her, when I tell them he's my man. But your good Lord doesn't need to lift a finger. I can fix him. No, really, I can.
Oh.
And only I can.
No.
It's so good.
That is such an important little added lyric at the end.
A very important lyric. We'll get there.
I love this chorus so much.
Same.
There's something about the way that in response to, I feel like saying, God help her, God help you, God help him.
Yes.
That feels like such a normal thing to say. And I think as two girlies who are not religious, it's just one of those things. People say, oh, fucking God help you. You know, like, and I don't actually think about it in that religious sort of connotation a lot of the time when I would say something like that or when I hear it. So I love that her response is, but your good Lord doesn't need to lift a finger. I just love it.
Such a clever, sassy kind of response to be like, your good Lord doesn't need to lift a finger.
Like you're actually, like she's really dissecting what God help her means. It's like, you cannot do this by yourself. You need God's divine intervention to help you in this relationship. And she's like, no, I don't.
Of the whole song is like, no, I am enough. I am enough to fix him. Yeah, it's so good because I think it really calls back to, especially the and only I can. It really calls back to Tortured Poets Department, the song. Who's going to hold you? Who's going to know you? Who's going to decode you? Me, bitch. I literally know that no one else is going to put up with this.
Yeah, it does feel like it links in with the context that we have of them knowing each other for many, many years and maybe having a fling or feelings for one another for a long time before we actually saw them be an official couple for a few weeks. It's like she's speaking from a place of, I know I can because I've known him for so long and I've known that he wants me for so long and I want him for so long, that she's in this phase kind of like, how could this not work out now that we're finally giving it a shot? Obviously, I'm going to be able to fix him. I'm his dream girl. Obviously, I'm going to be the one to pull him into line.
Absolutely. And I do love the confidence that it exudes, this song.
Yeah.
Delulu, but confident one nonetheless.
Definitely a very confident song.
It's kind of got a sensual energy for that reason.
It does. It's sexy.
It is sexy. I think that's even in the electric guitar, bass guitar, whatever is happening in the production. There's so much space to kind of let the lyrics really sink. It's very synky song. And then there's also like these wacky kind of drums happening in the background, but they feel kind of far away.
Yeah, totally. So true.
Which really creates an atmosphere, even though there's not heaps happening in the production. I am going to say that this is Daddy Jack. Jack loves I would say an odd production. Like I feel like he kind of lacks an uneven production, whereas I think Aaron's a bit more flowy, like it continues on, if that makes sense. Like he starts with something and then he builds on it. Ooh.
The dopamine races through his brain on a 6-lane Texas highway.
Texas, that's what it is.
Yes. His hand so callous from his pistol softly traces hearts on my face. And I could see it from a mile away, a perfect case for my certain skill set. He had a halo of the highest grade, he just hadn't met me yet.
This is an add-on verse.
Oh my God, it is. It's slightly
Because
extended.
the first one she would have ended with softly traces hearts on my face.
Yeah,
and then she
yeah.
it's kind of a slightly different melody.
Oh my God, it
I could
is.
see him from a
Mile away, a perfect case for my son's skills. Yeah, she's
That's
extending
new,
on it.
which I really like.
Well, and it is a shift in the storyline as well, because she's actually telling us not just things that he does that are a bit concerning, but
true.
what her mentality was around fixing him and how
So true.
she felt like she was perfect for the job.
So true. So true.
Wait, can I just talk about the production going into
Yeah,
this
oh
verse?
yes, please,
Because once
yes.
again, that random production, like we don't really get that again. It's like a... It's a really cool like breath and sink into that second verse. I absolutely love it. The dopamine races through his brain on a 6-lane Texas highway. This is giving maybe a little bit of a need for speed. Someone who gets dopamine from going fast on a Texas highway.
Totally. It adrenaline junkie
Adrenaline
kind of
junkie.
vibe.
Yeah.
You know, it's such an interesting lyric because I also think about like synapses in your brain and stuff like that. Like that could also be the highway. Like she's kind of saying like even
Yes.
taking a drug or something like that
Yes.
is dopamine racing through his brain.
Yes. Well, I think I actually came to you ages ago saying I wonder if she's referring to like ADHD or something there as well. Because
Maybe. It's
when
like a
someone
million
has
thoughts at
lots of
once.
different thoughts,
Yeah.
and it's like the dopamine is driving that, which is often how that kind of works. Like he's very scatterbrain. He's very searching for the highs and
Yes.
kind of just going for them.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of different meanings that you could take from
Totally.
that.
But I think either way, it's like you don't actually need to fully understand exactly what she's saying
No.
for it to still kind of still have the same meaning
Yes.
behind it. It's
Totally.
like this man is using things
Yeah.
for that dopamine hit, whether it is taking a drug or driving too fast in a car
Or how his
whatever
brain
it is.
operates.
Yeah.
Genius is also saying could be a reference to a 6-string guitar,
Oh,
which is interesting.
interesting. Okay.
Because he's obviously a musician and a
Yeah.
guitarist.
Okay. Interesting.
I also
that
think-
would kind of tie into the next lyric. Well, his hands so callous from his pistol, but like it kind of reminds me
Maybe-
of like every guitar string scar on my hand.
Well, the metaphor could be pistol and Western cowboy in this song, but it's
Yeah.
actually is his music. He's
Yeah,
a musician.
totally.
I think that when someone is obviously he is a musician, right? So maybe she doesn't want to make it that obvious or point it out, so she's using a metaphor for the cowboy stuff, which, you know, I'm just going to put out there, Cowboy Like Me, very intriguing song.
Cowboy Like Me is a very intriguing song. Yes.
But we'll get to that on another
Yes.
day. It is interesting if she's choosing to reuse that similar kind of metaphor here.
Totally. And yeah, I think between the Texas highway and the pistol here, you sort of get that Western imagery again. With that, it's so crazy how she does this. I just find it amazing that she's not even making a clear-cut metaphor or saying anything super, super obvious to link you back into a different time or whatever. And it still takes you there anyway.
Totally.
Like that just really, I think, highlights her skill in so
agree.
many ways when it comes to songwriting. Like she doesn't even need to say that much.
And I think
for
it is
for
the
you to get
production
image.
with this song particularly as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that twangy guitar and the way that it's spaced. I think that, you know, when you think about a Western standoff, it's like, you know, that sound, you know, the sound, like the Western sound when they're doing a standoff. It's like, there's a lot of space in that
Yeah.
kind of sound.
Yeah,
like it's
totally.
very bare, very barren.
Yeah.
And this song has that barren feel to it. I love the next lyric as well because, you know, those calloused hands from the pistol or maybe the guitar
Yep.
softly trace hearts on my face. So it's bringing it back to this really intimate moment that they're having where he's tracing these hearts on her face, but she can feel his calloused hands, which give that bad boy energy.
It's kind
this
of like-
manly.
It's a constant reminder, even in those moments of like of vulnerability between the two of them, that he's a bad boy.
He's a bad boy. It's interesting how we're talking about being on the highway and then being obviously in this intimate moment. You could take those as two different moments. Or
Yeah.
if we're all taking it as one moment, it could be that he's distracted, his thoughts are running rampant because he's on some sort of train thought? Yeah, okay. Train thought. He's distracted. He's thinking of a million different things at once while they're laying there together and he's stroking her face. She's watching his really twisted brain work and kind of observing that and being like,
so true.
Interesting. You're a bit of a problem, you know.
Like, you're kind of not even really here.
You're not even really here.
So I think that that's actually quite relatable for people who, especially girls, who have maybe been in a relationship with a guy who's just not
there.
Yeah, or like maybe doesn't care emotionally as much as you think he does or as much as you want him to. And like you can get so swept away in the feelings that you've got for them that you're actually ignoring the fact that they're maybe not actually doing fully right by you.
Yeah.
And it's those moments of nicety that convince you it's enough, but it's not, because he actually doesn't even care that much. He's not fully present.
Yeah, it's kind of spelling out the Delulu in a way.
Yeah.
It's like you're noticing something nice, but he's not actually present. He's not actually engaged.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really a very guilty thing that girls do, is give their partners and men just way too much credit in that regard.
Yeah.
Because it's actually a lot harder, from my experience anyway, to find a partner that is very present with you and really just enjoys actually that activity of being present with you. Because it can so often be that they like doing certain activities or kind of just having a girlfriend for the sake of having a girlfriend.
Yeah.
But that connection is not a priority for them.
No, so true.
And then,
so true.
it's interesting because the next lyric is, I can see it from a mile away, a perfect case for my certain skill set. So she's kind of saying that this experience, when she zooms out, she can see that it's not right, but my certain skill set is fixing these men. But
again, I think that it can kind of be alluding to the fact that she is Delulu in it, you know, like she is seeing that it's maybe not exactly what she wants it to be, but at the same time she wants it enough and she's delusional enough to genuinely think that she can
she's
fix
kind
it.
of putting a positive spin on it. She's like, oh, I can see these things. Oh, perfect case for my certain skill set. Like, I've got this. I can absolutely fix this man. I love that she says that, a perfect case for my certain skill set, because I think it links really nicely back to only I can fix him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that, like, the stuff she says on Torture Poets Department, like, we're meant for each other because we're crazy. Yeah. You say this, I say that. Like, everyone knows why it's meant to be. And I think that feeling is actually what made her delusional. You know, that super strong feeling of their connection and how much they got each other kind of led to this way of thinking.
Well, I think that ties into what you said about how girls so often give men way too much credit than where it's true. And I think that the last couple of lines kind of feed into that too. He had a halo of the highest grade.
Oh my God.
He just hadn't met me yet. Like, she's like, I'm the only one can see that he's actually an angel. Yeah. He's an angel and nobody else can see it. And it's like, how many girls have you met? How many of your friends have met a man and they're like, oh my God, he's such
so
a great guy. And then you meet him and you're like, he's literally just a guy. Like, it's not.
Just a guy. It's that
women build up
blind.
men so much.
Yeah. Also kind of gives, like, I'll build you a fort on some planet where they can all understand it. Like, once again, everyone else is misunderstanding him and I know him.
It's funny you say that, because what I was saying before about how she just uses a couple of words here and there and it gives you this whole imagery. The only other song that I can think of that's like that on this album is Down Bad.
Yeah.
It's like, this is why I think it took me a hot minute to fathom that it was a fucking alien abduction song, because she's actually doing that without even saying it. And that is a lot.
But your good Lord doesn't need to lift a finger. I can fix him. No, really, I can.
I love the backing vocals coming in on that. No, really, I can.
Yes.
Like, oh, we're here, we're really doing it. And it actually, the backing vocals and everything gets a lot thicker as the song goes on, and it really adds to it.
She gets those ad-libs in the final chorus as well.
Yes,
it kind of is
superior.
No, that's him.
Good boy, that's right. Come close, I'll show you heaven if you'll be an angel. All night, trust me, I can handle me a dangerous man. No, really, I can't.
This bridge is so sexy.
What I actually love that this song even has a bridge, because I think that oftentimes songs that are like super, super short, we don't even maybe get that far.
Yeah.
I could be wrong in saying that, because actually a lot of Taylor's shorter songs do still have a bridge, but I just find it so fascinating how like there are so many artists who just like can't even write a bridge. Like a bridge is just absent
that recently
from songs.
It's
and
like they
she still does it even in a short song.
It's really like they can't come up with that. I mean, when you think about what a bridge is, a bridge, it bridges one part of the song to the next part of the song. And I think that a lot of people can come up with a verse melody and a chorus melody, and then they just don't know where else to take the song. Or I think with Taylor, she's often changing that last chorus to give you some more story, which of course she does in this Superior song. And I think that bridge, it allows you to go there. You wouldn't be able to
you need
travel.
A little bit of extra context before you change something at the end of a song. And this is why so many songwriters don't
do the bridge,
but they also don't shift anything at the end, and that's something that's just so quintessentially Taylor. She's done it her entire career, this narrative shift that she does towards the end of a song, which is deeply not obvious. It's deeply not an obvious thing to do.
It's really not. And I think that like you can get away with not having a bridge if you have, you know, maybe a pre-chorus and, you know, some added context in the verses or the choruses. That obviously can happen, but the bridge for me is always such a highlight in every song, and every Taylor Swift song, of course, because it does allow you to just go somewhere else. And I think that by the time you get to this point in the song, you're kind of craving that. At least I know I am. And this bridge really does elevate the song. I'm so sorry. She's literally being so sexy.
She is being so sexy.
Good boy. That's right. Come close. Help!
I feel like it's so dominating, this line. She's taking control of this man who everybody else is perceiving cannot be controlled.
Yes. Well, I think that's why it's kind of sexy, because it feels like she's using her
sexuality
as a power to change him. I'll show you heaven if you'll be an angel. Which is kind of nice because that angel lyric links back to the second verse when she says about the halo. So she's trying to make him be his angel, trying to make him behave. And she's like, I'll show you heaven. I mean, I think we all know what that means.
Yes. But I love that it's kind of conditional. Like,
it's conditional.
If you'll be an angel.
If you'll be an angel.
All night. Like, you have to start being good.
All night.
To win me.
Yeah. It's kind of like also giving, like, speaking to a child. The way she's talking to him is really dumbing it down and kind of using her sexuality, but she's like, if you're a good boy, you know, you have me as your reward. And also, like, maybe she's going out with him or something and she really just wants him to behave while she's out with him.
It's condescending in the least offensive way, I think. Like, it's obviously meant to be enticing to this man, even though she is talking down to him, which is absolutely iconic.
It's really quite iconic. And the next lyric is really quite iconic as well. Trust me, I can handle me a dangerous man. No, really, I can. I think that this lyric is obviously very sexy and, like, very fun, but also it plays into the fact that this whole song she's calling him dangerous, obviously, with how he's driving, how he's got the pistol, you know, how he just behaves in public. But I think it really is, you know, more of a deeper meaning that he's dangerous to be in a relationship with, because he could leave her stranded. He could break her heart because he knows... She obviously says, you stole my tortured heart, left all these broken parts. Like, she knew his power over her as well, with how much she felt for him. So she's trying to convince herself and him, I can handle you, even though you're not a guarantee, even though you're probably going to hurt me and leave me. Like, trust me, I can take it. I can hold it. I can do it. Because she kind of knew subconsciously that he was really a risk at giving herself to him.
Yeah, and I think it's a really important context with the rest of the album to know how desperate she was for a love that was all consuming, maybe not for the right reasons, after coming from a relationship that was so empty
Draining.
towards the end, and how much that feeds into her desire to just want to fix him because she wants this so badly,
Yeah.
because she hasn't had it in so many years.
Totally.
That can make you do crazy things.
I think that's where that false confidence comes in. And even
Yes.
in songs like I'm Gonna Get You Back, like that song also kind of plays on this like false power dynamic that she thinks she kind of has.
So true. Yeah, God, that's such an interesting song with the context of this story, because with that power dynamic, it's like when you actually take into consideration so many of the other songs, like I don't think she held that power. I think the reality was that he didn't want her back, and she was just like, yeah, I'm gonna come and get you back. Like, yeah, but no. Yeah. I don't think that that's what's happening.
I guess like we discussed in Chloe and Sam, like it's hard for her to fully move on though, because she knows that he could always potentially come back and kind of ruin that or threaten that. And so I can see how she thought that could be a dynamic ongoing for quite some time.
Yeah, so true.
See, I cannot believe she says good boy to us.
I know! It's actually a lot. It really is a lot. So true.
The Torture Force department really brought out another layer of Taylor's sexiness, I think. And I feel like that might be missed on some people. Like, I think that people think her, like, horniest album is Rep.
There's definitely a lot of sexuality on this album for sure. I don't know if I'd say it's more sexual than Reputation. Reputation's such a different energy because it's so those first few months of like desperately wanting someone and then kind of finally getting them, and that's just like,
no, you're right, because like Don't Blame Me and So It Goes are very sexy songs. Obviously Dress, King of My Heart's a little bit sexy, and like maybe I guess you could put Gorgeous in that category. I mean, even Ready For It's a bit sexy.
It is. I mean, the chorus is literally her saying that I think about us having sex at night.
I do fear though that her sexiest album is yet to come.
Delicate is an entire story of them meeting up to hook up.
Yes, but it's also like not sexy. I wouldn't say Delicate's sexy.
No, but it is still about sex.
No, but it's not sexy. It's not sexy. But like, if that's how she felt with Joe, like her confidence is through the roof with Travis. Like, we are gonna get
no, I'm
some
ill at the
deeply
songs that
sexy
we're gonna
songs.
get. No.
Not to put any pressure.
No.
Taylor,
but
you know,
like, I just think it'll just be natural.
Just come,
it'll naturally
just
flow out of her.
So this last chorus, she does change some things. That acoustic guitar.
No, really, I can't.
I like
That's
that.
interesting.
Ooh, and this space.
They shook their heads saying God help her when I told them he's my man. But your good Lord didn't need to lift a finger. I can fix him. No, really I can. Whoa, maybe I can't.
Ooh. I love a flip. To be fair though,
Ending on the flip is also really offensive.
I actually think that I wish that this was an add-on chorus and there was more to the flip. Like, I wish we said some more.
Well,
but
I think that what's really fascinating about it though is that it kind of comes on the perfect time in the track list.
Yeah, you're right.
I think the rest of the flip is the remaining songs, you know, because like I know that we've got songs before this song that do deal with the breakup, like My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toy and Toys and stuff like that, but I think that it's after this song that we get the real pain of the heartbreak. Like immediately after this is LOML,
oh my God,
and then we kind of have like The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. Like, she's really after this song in the depths of her pain. This is really the turning point of this song, and so I think ending on that is, whoa, maybe I can't, and then going into LOML,
that's
like
everything.
that's it.
No, you're right.
That is the flip, you know.
So true. You're like, oh my God, what? And then you just get that next song.
Fully processing how fucked over she was in LOML.
Yeah. So true. I love this chorus because of the small changes. It's now in past tense. So we have, they shook their heads saying God help her. When I told them, not tell them. She now knows in this chorus that she can't fix him. And she's looking back on it past tense.
So true. And your good Lord didn't need to lift a finger. It's maybe not quite that the relationship is already over, but it's absolutely headed in that direction now, and she can see that.
No, it is a lot that she just changes those few words and it really changes the whole context, and you can kind of feel something coming, and then you get the whoa, maybe I can't.
The whoa is such an interesting word choice as well.
And actually, I think that adds to what you were saying about not extending on it any more than that, because it feels like she's being stopped in her tracks.
It's a shock. It's a shock. Whoa, maybe I can't.
Maybe I can't.
And I think that adds to the fact that this entire breakup was a shock to her. I feel like that's what this entire album really is, you know? And so again, having those songs that really deal with that heartbreak come immediately after this song, I think that they contain that shock value and why it hurt her so much, because she wasn't expecting it when he promised forever.
Yeah, so true.
So it's kind of the perfect way to end.
There's something about the way she says it as well that actually links into that Western theme, because I feel like people on a horse are like, whoa, you know, whoa boy. I don't know, there's something about it that evokes that imagery for me, like, whoa.
I get it.
I don't know, it's very...
I get it.
The way she says it has a Western energy.
You're right. I think as well, like, for this just being such a relatable song for so many people who feel like they can kind of come in and fix a person in a relationship and stuff, like, I think that it's bound to end this way. It always ends this way. You know, you cannot fix a person that doesn't want to be fixed themselves. And if they wanted to be fixed, they'd be doing that work without your help, you know? So this is the inevitability of entering any kind of relationship in your life, thinking that you can fix it. You can't do that.
Date someone for their potential. You have to date them for what they currently are showing you that they are. Yeah. And I think Taylor like did know that. She did know that, and I think that's why she could write a song like this as well, but she couldn't actually act on it in the moment.
Yeah, totally.
Wow, superior cowboy song.
Superior cowboy song. You know, I think that this song being short, it is kind of the perfect bridge between sort of phases of this album. So
you're right.
I think it really serves a very good purpose, and I do feel that we'd feel like we're missing something if we didn't have this song on the album.
I think that Taylor's shorter songs, they're short for a reason. I think that with Taylor, we know that she doesn't just... she can always write more. Like she always has the ability to come up with a new melody, a new lyric. Like she's just that talented.
So true. It's concise for a reason.
It's concise for a reason. And I feel that way about Now That We Don't Talk. It's punchy, it hits you, and that's all she has to say, because they don't fucking talk anymore.
Yeah, so true.
And I think that it's the same for this song as well. It's purposefully short.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And abrupt ending, because that's how she felt in that shocked moment, like you just said.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. We don't need to be diving into any more that she has to say here.
Not when we have LOML coming after it.
No, definitely not. Offensive song.
Wow, offensive song. Yeah, guys, thanks for all your comments and everything that you are going to say down below. I already know, offensive.
Yeah.
And we will see you soon for another TPD breakdown.
Yes.
Love you guys.
Bye.